LAMY is a German pen brand best known for their striking modern designs. In this video, I'm going to compare LAMY fountain pens at 3 different price points, from budget-friendly picks all the way up to luxury options. Let's get started. Budget. LAMY Nexx fountain pen. The Nexx is one of the cheapest fountain pens that LAMY offers. It's just over $25, and it's a great pen to get started on your fountain pen journey with. It has an aluminum barrel and plastic grip section, so it feels pretty light. Speaking of the grip section, the one on this pen is gently molded into a triangular shape. This encourages you to hold it with an ergonomic tripod grasp, but it's not uncomfortable if you hold your pens differently. Like me, I have a lateral grip, so I hold my pen like this. I really like the bold, contrasting color of the cap. I thought it might look a little childish, but with the more understated colors of the barrel and grip section, it works out well. Since this pen and the next one have the same nibs, I'll talk about the writing experience at the end of this section. LAMY Safari fountain pen. The LAMY Safari is regularly recommended to fountain pen beginners because of its reasonable price and durable construction. It was actually one of my first fountain pens. The Safari is made almost entirely of a very durable plastic that's practically impossible to break. In the hand, it's a little bit lighter than the Nexx, but it's not really noticeable when you're actually holding the pen. However, I should mention that the Safari has a triangular grip section that's a little more noticeable than the Nexx. It can be pretty uncomfortable to hold if you don't have a tripod grasp. It doesn't bother me when I hold it like this, but it might dig into other people's fingers. Alright, let's talk about how these pens write. Both the Nexx and Safari use LAMY's arrow-shaped steel nibs, which are very consistent and smooth. I especially like that the nibs are swappable, so you can try out a new nib without buying a completely new pen. So I'm going to demo how to swap the nibs. So you have your open pen here. I have a jar grip just to help me get a better grasp on the nib. So you're going to try to grab it from the sides, and then you're just going to try to wiggle it gently. This might take a little bit, especially if it's brand new, but if you just keep wiggling, I can already feel it coming off. There. So that's nib. And to swap the nib, you would just grab the replacement and just slide it on. So I'm just going to put this nib back on. You just take it, very gently squish it back on. You can do the same little wiggling motion to get it back. There, like that. The pens are very similar, and I think they're both absolutely worth their price tags. They're both durable and have great nibs. Personally, I would pick up the Safari because I prefer the way that it looks. However, if you're unsure about that triangular grip section, stick with the Nexx. Intermediate. LAMY Aion fountain pen. Now we're up to pens that cost more than $50, starting with the LAMY Aion. It has a more sophisticated look than LAMY's cheaper pens. It'd be a good option for something office appropriate. The entire body is made of metal, so it's almost twice the weight of a Safari. You can definitely feel the difference, but it's not so heavy that it's uncomfortable. I like that all the pens come with matte grip sections. I have sweaty hands, so it's easier for me to get a good grasp on a textured grip. The stainless steel nib is a little different than one found on the LAMY Safari, and it has a curved look that matches the pen's taper design. If you didn't tell me about it, I don't think I would have noticed though. Otherwise, it writes about the same as the standard nibs. While the idea of a unique nib is cool, I don't know how necessary it is. LAMY Studio fountain pen. I like to think of the LAMY Studio as an upgraded version of the Aion. The aesthetics are very similar, although its clip is a little sleeker. Thanks to its aluminum construction, it's lighter in weight, but you'll barely notice it while writing. Most versions of the Studio have glossy grip sections. It's a cool effect, but I can't help but think about all the fingerprints it'll collect. Thankfully, there are a few options, like this one, that have matte grip sections. Unlike the Aion, the Studio uses LAMY's standard nibs, and you can get one with a 14-karat gold nib too. It's about $100 more than the Studio with a steel nib. A gold nib isn't necessarily better than a steel nib, but gold nibs typically feel smoother and springier than steel nibs. And because they're more expensive, they also tend to get more attention in the factory. At this price point, you're basically paying for better materials. Both the Aion and Studio are made from metal, so they're heftier and more durable than the plastic options in the previous tier. There aren't many gold nib fountain pens under $200, and the Studio is a relatively inexpensive way to try one out. I would pick the Studio even if I was just getting the steel nib because I like the design more. To me, there's nothing very special about the Aion that makes it stand out. I think if it was, say, $10 or $15 cheaper, it would absolutely be worth the price. Luxury. LAMY 2000 fountain pen. There's nothing quite like the iconic LAMY 2000. Though it was first released in 1966, it has such a cool, timeless design. Its built-in piston filling mechanism means it has a big ink capacity, so it can write for pages and pages. Peeking out from the grip section is the 2000's 14-karat gold nib, available in unique sizes like double broad and oblique medium. It's very smooth and has just the slightest amount of spring, which cushions the tip as you write. I prefer the black 2000, which is made from a type of fiberglass. It's lightweight, yet nice and strong. The stainless steel version is noticeably heavier and basically indestructible. I just wanted to quickly mention that we still have the limited edition LAMY 2000 pine sets available. They are made in honor of the 2000's 58th anniversary, and they're limited to 5,085 sets. It's a really pretty dark green macrolon, and it also comes with a notebook. LAMY Imporium Fountain Pen. With the LAMY Imporium, we're hitting the ceiling of LAMY's fountain pen prices. This pen costs almost $450. When I first saw the Imporium, I was really intrigued by its design. Its barrel and grip section have a ribbed look, which I haven't seen in other fountain pens before, I don't think. For a pen at this price point, I'm a little disappointed that it doesn't use a built-in filling system and uses a cartridge or converter instead. However, the pen does feel really nice in my hand, so I think they focus more on the build quality. So let's summarize the luxury section. I absolutely think the LAMY 2000 is worth the price. I might be a little biased because I own one. It was one of the first luxury fountain pens I picked up. I'm personally not a fan of the Emporium's design despite how unique it is, but if it speaks to you, add it to your collection. So here's my LAMY collection. I have a Safari in petrol and a All-Star in blue-green. No longer available, they were released as special editions like 5-6 years ago. And then I have my LAMY 2000. So this has an oblique double broad nib, which might seem kind of crazy, but I love broad nibs. I love the way this pen writes. It's supposed to be cut in a specific way to better match people who turn their pens. For some reason, I find that it works really well with my left-handed style of writing. And if you're like me, a person who collects fountain pen inks and has a little bit of a problem, you put an ink in here, it's like gone in a week. You know, it's just really guzzles ink, which I really love. So if you're on the fence about the 2K, I love mine. Definitely recommend it. What's your favorite LAMY fountain pen? How about your holy grail LAMY, the pen that will end your collecting for good? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.